Понял, под моим управлением. Наблюдаю у вас 292 на 94.
Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video, a very cool one. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you for all the 1,400 subscribers and let's get into it. Let's get going guys, subscribe and let's get into it. I did a video on this kind of back in the day when I had like 200 subscribers, but I will try to do one again in two parts. The first one is the Chaff, and the second one will be the flares coming soon as well. This one is the Chaff one. So yeah, let's get into it. First of all, what is Chaff? So basically, Chaff is metallic, like little things metallic, like a paper metallic or something like that. Small pieces of metal that are, or some kind of material similar to metal, that are released in the air to make the radar or the missile see a larger thing than the aircraft, or see another thing that it's not the aircraft that it's firing the missile in or locking in. So it's basically a way to makeshift a kind of a like a simulated target, so that the missile goes for the chaff and not for the target itself, the aircraft that it's on the defensive position. Okay, so there are two types of radar missiles in the game, at least. We have the pulse signal missiles and the CW missiles. The pulse signal missiles work like in an older way. They have a very limited radar illumination beam, and that makes it so Chaff is very effective against it. The missiles included are the R530, the R3R, the AIM-9C, and the Super 530F, which is the new addition for the Mirage F1. The CW missile, it's continuous wave signals. They are used in a different manner, and they have a broad illumination area of the radar, which makes it more susceptible to just ignoring Chaff in some general ways. You know, Chaff is still effective against this missile, and you have to be careful if you are the attacking aircraft. So yeah, missiles included are all the M7s, the C, D, E, E2, and the F, the Skyflash, the RB71, which is the Swedish Skyflash, the R23R, the R24R, and the Aspide missile, the new Aspide missile. So in general, pulse signals are very effective, very susceptible to go to chaff, and CW signals are a little bit susceptible, but they have some improvements over the pulse signal. I don't know the exactly thing on how it works in real life. I'm just saying about the game because I didn't research enough to actually understand the difference between the pulse signal and the CW signal, but still, I hope you understand. So yeah, these are the differences between the missiles, and this makes it the chaff evasion possible. So it's very important. So yeah, first of all, let's talk about the pulse signal. So these older missiles, even though the S500F is a very new missile still, these older missiles have a very narrow illumination area, which makes it so that the radar, when it's locked on the chaff, it makes the missile goes directly to the chaff. Okay, and when you are using an MTI, remember the chaff, the MTI or pulse Doppler radars don't see chaff because they are standing still, and pulse Doppler MTI radars are made for stuff that are moving towards the aircraft or away from the aircraft. Always remember that. That's why when on MTI mode and pulse Doppler mode, even though the aircraft fires chaff, the radar will still be locked onto the aircraft. That doesn't mean that the missile goes for the aircraft when you're using that mode. It just means that the mothership aircraft is actually seeing the aircraft, but the missile will still get just a very large illumination area because the reflection of the chaff, and it will make the missile go for some of the chaff. Okay, so remember that pulse signal radars are very susceptible to chaff. I'm going to show some examples here. As you see right now, I'm putting some examples with the Mirage F1. with the Super 530 and the R530 normal. As you see, the missile just goes for the Chaff. That's why it just have a very narrow vision, and it just goes for whatever Chaff is nearby. So it kind of doesn't matter if you are trying to evade it or not. Even with the MTI mode, as you see, the missile still kind of doesn't know what to do and just goes for the Chaff, you know, goes ballistic. So yeah, it's problematic, but anyway, this is the 530, the normal 530, as you see, also goes for that. And yeah, it's just a way that within the MTI, as you see, it goes for the target, but then he sees a lot of detection because the radar goes illuminating not only the aircraft itself, but it illuminates a lot of the chaff that are being released by the defensive aircraft. And that makes it so that the aircraft, even if it's not locking on the chaff, it makes just lose the signal. Because remember, what you see, it's not actually what the radar see. Remember that the mothership aircraft has an active radar, and the missile, these Fox 1 missiles at least, they only have a reflection of the radar that you are firing the radiation upon. So yeah, it's not your target that the missile is going for, you know, just because it's a reflection of the missile of the aircraft or the chaff, you know. So it works kind of like that. Okay, so basically just remember, in an offensive position, when you are in especially in the mirages, of course there are aircraft that use the other pulse signals, as I said, the R3R and the AIM-9C, but normally in mirages, when you are flying it on an offensive position, just try to get the people by surprise. There is no way that you can actually avoid this problem. Even MTI or high altitude, low altitude, there's no way. Chaff will attract this missile even with the MTI. Maybe it's not going to be close. Maybe if you're firing from 10 kilometers, the missile will still track a little bit with the MTI. But once you get it close, the illumination will be too large because of the chaff going behind the aircraft, and the missile will just go straight and will not hit the target, or will just go for one of the chaffs. Okay, so remember this: when you are flying the Mirage, just try to attack people that don't know that you're there. Okay, it is problematic, I know, you can complain a lot, but it is the way that it works, and it's kind of the way that it works in real life as well. I don't have the exact confirmation on that, but it's at least it's similar on how it works. Okay. Yeah. On defensive note, against an aircraft like this, there's not much to it. You know, just fire some chaff, and if the missile is coming because he's using the MTI mode from far away, just try to maneuver a little bit and fire the chaff. Probably not gonna work. You know, the missile will not hit you if you fire the chaff. So yeah, you just protected always if you're firing some chaff. So remember, defensive position, just fire some chaff. If you're on offensive, get people by surprise. These are the two tactics that I can show to you guys, and they are effective, but in attack manner, you will get very frustrated with the S530F. It is one of the best missiles close range in radar guided. It turns like an R60M basically, but with the chaff problem with the pulse signal, it's just something that you cannot avoid. Okay, and we have the CW signal, which are the most common type of radar signal that is used. And the way it works, it is, I don't know exactly how it works, but with the continuous wave, you apparently have a very large illumination area that you can actually see with the missile, which makes it a broad just look, you know, of the missile. So the way it works is the same. The radar will illuminate the target and it will get back, but because of the size of the cone on the missile, it will be able to, even if you have a radar lock like this, it will be on the chaff, you know, the aircraft release the chaff, and even if you're using a monopulse radar and the chaff is locked, because of the illumination area, the missile will not care for standing still stuff too much, you know, and it will go for the target aircraft. So if you're flying an aircraft and you're using these missiles and he fire a chaff, the enemy fire a chaff, just maintain the lock on the chaff. If the target maintains the kind of the area of the chaff, the missile will try to get the aircraft. I have some examples on this, especially with the MiG-23 and the F4J. But as you see, I fired the R-24 and the radar locked the chaff. But he's in the same area as the aircraft, so the aircraft is shot down. Okay. Here we have an example of MTI. Of course, MTI not caring about the chaff, it will of course hit the target. Okay, so there are some things that you have to consider. First of them is that is not immune to chaff. As you see, it goes for chaff, but normally if the target is flying perpendicular to you or away from you. So remember this: if you are flying an aircraft, if you are attacking an aircraft that is flying perpendicular to you, it's best just to, or away from you, it's best just to use the IR guided missiles. It will be a little bit better. Another example of MTI, the aircraft is coming towards you, always works, you know, the radar maintains it. He's trying to fire chaff, but the radar doesn't care and the missile doesn't care because the chaff is right there on behind them. And so yeah, as you see, the way it works is that if you are flying in a perpendicular manner or away from the aircraft that you're being fired on, just use some chaff and the missile will go away, okay? And if you're attacking the aircraft, be careful that you need to have the aircraft coming towards you to be immune to chaff. Doesn't mean that the missile will not hit the target. It just means that the missile is very susceptible to chaff, basically. So as you see, I'm going to show here. Yeah, the missile just doesn't know what to do because the size of the radar signature that it receives from the aircraft coming, it's large. It's really large. So it makes the missile just do this, you know. And another example here, we have the F4J. The way it works is the same, but yeah, the good point, the attack point is that if the target needs to be flying towards you, as you see, again, flying kind of perpendicular to me, even though it's a CW missile, the missile just goes for the chaff. So remember this: if you're attacking, you're not immune to chaff. You're just have a little bit of a more kind of a, it's not that exactly, but it's kind of like a similar thing to flares, you know. It depends on the engine, depends on a lot of things. So this is the same way that so yeah, it depends on whether you are going towards the target, if he's flying towards you, if etc etc. So it is the way it works. I've lost the lock because of the pulse Doppler as well, because you cannot get a lock like that. So yeah, keep that in mind. And basically this is it. So remember, again, just try to think about what you're doing and the way that the missile is going to hit you or the way that you're going to fire the missile. As you see, try to maintain the lock. When it got close to the target, it will miss the target if he's flying a lot of chaff. Okay, remember, these missiles are pretty good, the CW missiles, but they are susceptible to chaff. It's just that when they are coming towards you, they kind of don't care about chaff. And yeah, try to use the pulse Doppler modes, the MTI modes. They are a little bit better, even with the Mirage. It's a little bit better. It's not the greatest thing ever. It's not like the CW missiles in general. But it helps a little bit, especially for CW missiles. If you have the pulse Doppler and the target is flying towards you, it don't matter what he will try to do. If he doesn't go, you know, pop some chaff and just turn perpendicular to you, he will not evade the missile. The last tactic that I want to show to you guys is that a tactic that I use to actually avoid these missiles. To attack them, just remember, fly towards them, you know, and they will fly towards you and you fire the missile. That's the basic idea. And if the chaff is fired, just maintain the lock on the chaff and the missile will do the rest. Will try to do the rest at least. If you're defensive and you're flying against one of these aircraft, fly perpendicular at least. Go downwards perpendicular to the aircraft that is firing, and pop chaff, man. Pop chaff, especially when you think that the missile will hit. Just pop a lot of chaff and the missile will evade you. It works like a charm, you know. It's really easy to avoid these missiles in general, but be careful with one thing. It depends on the distance that you are. For example, if you're less than 5 kilometers of an Air-24, you're not going to be able to. If you have like less than 3-4 seconds, you're not going to be able to turn 90 degrees to the left or to the right to evade the missile. So yeah, it's short range is really hard to evade missiles. Even the A2 and the Sky Flash is almost impossible sometimes, less than 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers. But pop chaff and try to turn as away from the target as possible. This will make it as perpendicular as possible to the enemy aircraft. And another thing, of course, good in flying perpendicular is that if he's using a pulse Doppler radar, he will lose the lock. Maybe not in the Kai, for example, because he has a very good radar, but or even the Vegan, but most of the radars that we have in game, they will do that. That's why I enjoy it so much, the MiG-23, even though it has one of the best, if not the best, monopulse radar in the game, and the MTI mode can be used in extreme manners when you're flying low. But the look down mode and the normal mode of the radar just they can be useful enough, even though they are susceptible to chaff a lot more than the pulse Doppler ones. You ended up having like a filter. I don't know what they did, but you have like a filter that filters out everything. So I'm going to leave these the Reddit of this guy that made these illumination things, these graphics on the description. Make sure to support him there and just take a look on the comments as well. A lot of people explaining a lot of things there. So let's get together better at the game, you know. And I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and I see you guys on the next one. Bye.